Hey guys, welcome back to a new live session from Edureka. My name is Vajiha, and in this session, you'll be learning how to parse XML using Python. Coming back towards this session, we shall first begin with a small introduction to XML and parsing. Then, we shall take a look at the Python parsing modules, namely elementary module and the Minidom module, and how you can make use of these to parse, modify, or look for data of your interest. So I hope everyone's ready to start with this. So without any further ado, let's get started by understanding what exactly is XML. XML stands for Extensible Markup Language. It is similar to HTML in its appearance, but XML is used for data presentation, while HTML is used to define what data is being used. XML is exclusively designed to send and receive data back and forth between clients and servers. Now, just to show you all how data looks in the XML format, let me jump on to PyCharm and show you the sample file that I'll be using in this session today. So as you all can see on the screen, it basically begins with a less than symbol, a question mark symbol, followed by XML's version and the type of encoding that's being used. It has root elements which can have n number of child elements present in it. So here, my root element is metadata, and the child elements of this is food, item, etc. You can define your own tags, but remember to close each tag after you define it. So as you all can see on the screen, all the tags that have opened have a closing tag as well. And the root tag will close at the end of this file. So I hope everyone's clear with this. Now let's get back to our presentation and see what exactly is parsing. Parsing basically means to read information and split it into pieces by identifying the parts of that particular XML document. Now let's move on and take a look at Python XML parsing modules. In this session, I'll be making use of the elementary and the Minidom module to parsing Python. The elementary module helps us format XML data in a tree structure, which is the most natural representation of hierarchical data. The element data type allows storage of hierarchical data structures in memory. The Minidom module is basically used by people who are proficient with DOM or the Document Object Module. DOM applications often start by parsing XML into DOM. Okay, now let's move on to take a deeper look at these modules, beginning with the elementary module. As mentioned earlier, this module helps format XML data in a tree structure. Elementary is a class that wraps the element structure and allows conversion to and from XML. And it has the following properties. So basically, each element that's present in the elementary module will consist of a tag that describes the type of data being stored, the attributes which are basically stored as Python dictionaries, a text string consisting of the information that needs to be displayed, a tail string which is optional, and child elements which consists of other specific data. In today's session, we'll be seeing how to use this module for parsing, finding elements, and to modify, that is adding or deleting elements from an XML document. So first, let's take a look at how to parse XML using the elementary module. There are two ways to parse a file using this module. The first is by using the parse function, and the second is to use the fromString function. The parse function parses an XML document which is supplied to it as a file. Now let's jump on to PyCharm to see how exactly this works. I'll create a new file. I'll just name it as example. Okay, the first thing that you'll have to do is import this module using import xml.etree.elementtree, and I'll give it an alias name as et. After this, I'll just take a variable, say my tree, and I'll use et.parse, and I'll pass this sample XML file as a parameter to this. Okay, now let me just execute this. As you all can see on the screen, the process is finished without any errors, which means my file has been parsed. Now, to get the root element of this file, what I'm going to do is take another variable, say my root, and then I'll use the getRoot method to fetch the root element of this file. After this, I'll just print my root. And now let me hit run. So as you all can see over here, when I use the getRoot method, it has returned the root element of my file, which is metadata. So this is how you can parse an XML file by passing it as a parameter to the parse function. Now, in case you want to parse your XML data as a string, in this case, you can make use of the fromString method. To do this, I'll just create a new Python file and I'll just name it as example2. And I'll just copy this import statement. And after this, I'll just define some variable, say data, into which I'll store the XML string that I want to parse using the fromString method. I'll specify this XML string within triple quotes. Let me just copy one part of this XML file and put it within this triple quotes. I'll have to close the root tag, which is metadata. And then I'll say my root is equal to et.fromString, and I'll pass data as the parameter to this. Sorry guys, I've made a spelling mistake over here. I have to use et.fromString. And then I'll print my root dot tag. As you all can see, my string has been passed and the tag of the root element has been returned. So I hope everyone's clear till here. Okay, so in case you have any doubts, please do let me know in the chat box and my team is here to help you. So now let's move on and see how you can actually find elements of your interest using the elementary module. Guys, please make a note that last time I just used print my root and this time I used print my root.tag, and that is why it has returned the root tag for me. In case I would not use this attribute, it would have returned the same output as the previous output. Now let's move on and see how you can actually find the elements of your interest using the elementary module. You can find various elements and sub-elements using attributes such as tag, attrib, text, etc. So like I've showed you earlier, in case you want to print the tag of the root element, you just have to say myRoot.tag and run this. So as you all can see, the tag element has been returned. Now in case I want to print the tag of the first child of root element, all I have to do is copy this and specify the subscript as 0, which will return the first child of my root element. Now let me hit run. As you can see over here, the first child of my root element is food. Let's get back to our sample.xml and see where food is exactly present. As you all can see, the first child of this root element is food. And over here, when I use the subscript as 0, it has returned the first child of the root element, which is food. So I hope everyone's clear with this. Okay, now in case you want to check what is the attribute that's present for the food tag. So for that, I'll just replace this tag attribute by attrib, and then I'll hit run. So like I've told you earlier, attributes are present as dictionaries. The food tag has no extra attributes, and therefore my output is an empty dictionary. Now, in case I want to print out all the tags and attributes that are present within the food tag, I can just loop through it using the for loop and say for x in my root of 0, I'll print out x.tag and x.attrib. This is x, and then I hit run. So as you all can see over here, all the tags and attributes that are present within the food tag have been returned. To bring out the text that's present within these tags, you can make use of the text attribute. So to print out the text present in all the tags, I'll just use for x in my root of 0. I'll just say print x.text, and then I'll hit run. So as you can see, all the text that's present within each tag has been returned as my output. So now let me just remove this part so as to make my output clear. I want to find all the items along with its prices. I'll use the find all method. So for x in myRoot dot find all, and I'll specify the keyword as food. Since I want to loop through all the food tags, I'll specify food as a parameter to this. And then I'll just take another variable, say item, and I'll use x.find. So this time I want to print out the item name, which in the first case is idli. So I want to find the items in this. In the food tag, I want to retrieve the item. So I'll just use find the text that's present in item. And since I want to print the price as well, I'll take another variable as price. And then I'll say x.find price. And I'll print the text in this. Finally, I'll just print both the variables, that's item and price. Now I'll hit run. So as you all can see on the screen, all the items along with the prices has been returned as my output. So I hope everyone's clear till here. Okay, in case you have any doubts, please do let me know in the chat box and my team is here to help you. Now let's get back to our presentation and see how you can actually modify, that is add or delete elements of your choice using the elementary module. First, let me take an example of how you can actually add something to your XML file that's already present. So as you all can see on the screen, to do this, I'll be making use of the set method. Now let's get back to PyCharm and try to modify the file that's already present, which is sample.xml. Now, in case I want to add on some more description to this description tag, all I have to do is use the for loop, and then I'll say for x in myRoot dot iter, and then I want to iterate over the description tag. I'll just take a variable that will store the new description. And to this, since the data is in string format, I'll have to pass a string to this. And to the text of this description, I want to add a new part, say description has been added. And then into x of text, I'll store a. And then I'll use the set method to set another attribute with the name updated and the value as yes. I'll just write this altered output to a new file since I don't want to manipulate the original file. So I'll use mytree.write, and then I'll specify a new name to this file, say new.xml. So as you all can see over here, a new file has been created. Okay, so as you all can see on the screen, when I open this file, a new description saying description has been added to all the description tags that are present in this file. So I hope everyone's clear with this. Let me just show you the complete file. I'll just close this. And as you all can see, all the description tags have this updated text saying description has been added, and a new attribute saying updated and the value being yes has been added to all the description tags present in this file. With the help of the write function, I was able to create a new XML file and write the updated output to the same. You can modify the original file as well. However, guys, you can manipulate the original file as well by specifying the name of the original file itself as the parameter to this. In case you want to add a new element, you can make use of the sub-element method. To do this, all you have to do is say et.subElement, which is the name of the function. And then you'll have to specify where you want to add this tag. So I want to add this tag within the food tag. So I'll say myRoot of 0, and I'll name this tag as a specialty tag. Then I'll iterate over all the food tags that are present. And then I'll use the for loop, and for x in my root, for x in my root.iter, I want to iterate over the specialty tag which I've newly created. To this, I'll add some new description, say B, and I'll store it within a variable, say B, and I'll just pass some string to this, say South Indian Special. You can give any description of your choice, guys. And then, just like I've done before, I'll say x.text equals the string of B. After this, I'll write the output to a new file. So for this, I'll use mytree.write. I've made a spelling mistake, sorry guys. mytree.write, and I'll say new2.xml, and I'll hit run. So as you all can see over here, a new file has been created. And when I open this file, a new tag, which is the specialty tag, has been added to the first food tag that's present in my XML file. Okay, so I hope everyone's clear till here. So now let's move on and see how you can delete attributes or sub-elements using the elementary module. Let me just clear this. Now, in case I want to remove some attribute that's present in my file. So as you all can see, I have an attribute to this item tag. Now, if I want to remove this attribute, all I have to do is make use of the pop function. To do this, I'll say my root, and I'll specify the subscript as 0, which will be the first child of the root element. And then I'll specify another subscript, which will be the first child of the food tag. So as we all know, metadata is the root tag, and the first child of this is food tag. And within the food tag, the first tag that's present is the item tag. Okay, now from this, I want to remove the attribute. So I'll say attrib.pop, and I'll pass the name of it, which is name. And after this, I'll just print the output to a new file. So for that, I'll use mytree.write, and I'll specify the name as new3.xml. And I hit run. Now, when I open this file, you all can see that the name attribute that was present within the item tag has been removed. If you want to remove a complete tag, you can make use of the remove method by just specifying which tag you want to remove. So for this, I'll say my root of 0, which means within the food tag, I want to remove the first tag. So for that, I'll say my root and subscript of 0 and 0. Then I'll just write it. I'll just write the output. So as you all can see, the first tag, which was item, that was present within the food tag, has been removed. There's another method, which is the clear method, which can also be used to remove some tag of your choice. Say, for example, I want to remove the first food tag that's present in my XML file. To do this, I'll just say my root of 0, my root of 0.clear. And then I'll just write the output. Let me just open the original file and show you that the first tag, which was containing description about idli, has been removed from the output after using the clear method. So in my original file, I had idli as the first item, and in the new file, which is the output, has the second item, which is paper dosa, as the first item. Okay, so I hope everyone's clear till this. Now let's get back to our presentation and see how to use the Minidom module for parsing finding elements and to find the length of the elements present in our XML file. Now, just like the elementary module, the Minidom module also has two ways to parse your data. The first is to make use of the parse function by supplying the XML file to be passed as a parameter to it. This also can be done in two ways. Let me just get back to PyCharm to show this in detail. I'll just open a new file since this is a new library. I'll say new Python file and I'll say example3. So the first thing that you have to do to make use of this module is to import it. So I'll use from xml.dom import minidom. After this, I'll just take a variable, say �my_tree again, and then I'll use minidom.parse. Within this, just like before, I'll have to specify the name of the file. So it's sample.xml, and then I'll hit run. As you all can see, the process has finished without any errors. However, you can make use of this parse function to parse an open file as well. To do that, I'll just comment this line. I'll just take another variable, say data. And within this, I'll store the contents of a file which I want to open. So this will be my sample.xml again. And then I'll take another variable, say a, and then I'll use minidom.parse, and I'll pass data as a parameter to this. So as you all can see, just like before, the process is executed without any errors. Okay, so now let me just remove this. There's another function known as the parse string function, which can be used to parse XML when it's applied as a string to it. Just to show you how to make use of this function, I'll take another variable, say data again, and then I'll use the parse string function which is present in the Minidom module. And to this, I'll just pass a string which I already have as a parameter. So I'll just copy this and I'll pass this as a parameter, and now I'll hit run. As you all can see, I've used the parse string function to parse an XML string. Since I won't be using this function in future, I'll just remove it. Okay. Now let's get back to our presentation and see how you can actually find elements using the Minidom module. To find various elements that are present in the XML file, you can use the getElementByName method or value, data, attributes, etc. Now, I'll jump onto my PyCharm and show you all how you can use the getElementByTagName method. So let's see how you can actually get the tag name using this method. I'll take a new variable, say tag name. And to this, I'll specify _getElementByTagName. Just make sure you don't make any spelling mistakes. Within this, I'll just specify that I want to retrieve the item tag, and I'll specify the subscript as 0, which means I want to retrieve the first item tag. And then I'll just print the tag name. Okay, I've just made spelling mistake over here. So it's getElementsByTagName. Okay, so as you all can see, it has returned that this is a DOM element and the name of the tag is item. Like I already told you all before, DOM applications often start by parsing XML into DOM. And that is why you see this as your output saying DOM element item at so-and-so memory location. Now, in case I want to fetch the value of the attributes present in the item tag, I can just say print tag name dot attributes, and then I'll specify the name of the attribute, which is name itself, and then I'll use the value attribute to print out its value. So as you all can see, it has returned the value of this attribute, which is breakfast. To retrieve the data that's present in these tags, you can make use of the data attribute. Let me just comment this statement out. Okay, to do this, I'll just print tag name, which is the name of my variable, dot first child, and then I'll use the first child method dot data, and then I'll hit run. So as you all can see, the text information present in this item tag has been returned. So now in case you want to retrieve the names of other items that are present in our XML file, all I'm going to do is remove this subscript from here. I'll comment out the statement. I'll copy it. And then I'll use a subscript over here, say 1. And then I'll hit run. So as you all can see, the result is paper dosa, which is the second item that's present in my sample XML file. In case I want to print out all the elements that are present in my file, all I'm going to do is loop through all the item names that are present in my file and then print it. And then print the data present in it. Okay, so as you all can see in the output of here, all the item names present in my file have been returned. Now let's get back to our presentation and see how you can actually retrieve the length of the elements that are present in my file. To retrieve the length of the elements, I can make use of the len function. So let's get back to PyCharm. And over here, I'll just say print len of the tag name. Okay, as you all can see, it has returned that the length of item tag name is 5. So I hope everyone's understood this. With this, we've reached the end of this session. I hope you've enjoyed and learned something new. Goodbye and take care.